Welcome back to another Pokemon What If Wednesday, where every Wednesday morning I go through last week's investing and collecting questions, where your guys' questions will actually be featured in the video and one person's question will help me make the thumbnail every single week. So please drop your question down below for a chance to be in next week's video. And if I did comment to you saying great question, I might use this and I didn't, please drop that same question again, maybe shorten it up a little bit if it was too long, and then put repeat question in there so that way it will get moved to the top. And I'm not saying I'm some guru who just knows everything, but when I'm unsure, I always like to talk it out with a few people. It always helps me make my final decision. And then we do have to get thanks to our video sponsor real quick, and that is Grave Before Shave. Yes, I got a beard sponsor. This is basically the only sponsor that I wanted outside of the Pokemon world. So if you guys have a beard or know anybody who has a beard, these guys have some of the best products that I've ever tried. They got everything: beard oils, balms, mustache waxes. They got super nice bundle kits that come with everything that you could possibly need. They have free shipping on orders of $60 or more. Then if you use the code POKEBeard at checkout, you will receive 15% off your entire order. So definitely check them out. All the links are in the description. But all right, let's get to it. First question is from @Collectr. How do you see all this playing out? Do you think the scalping is going to continue? It's just so disheartening going into a Target after work and the whole TCG section is completely cleared out. These new sets are becoming impossible to find in the wild. Yeah, it is super rough out there right now. I mean, all the stores are basically emptied as soon as they get stocked. So if you have no idea when the store actually stocks, you don't really have a chance right now. But there's stuff you can do online. You know, you can sign up for all the notifications for Best Buy, Walmart, Target, download all the apps for those. That definitely helps. There's a ton of Discords. There's free ones. There's ones you can pay for. So, I mean, there's a lot you can do to find some stuff randomly online. But yeah, I totally agree. It is so rough. And I honestly feel like the scalping is definitely going to continue. I feel like Journey Together won't be scalped nearly as bad. So I have a feeling we'll be able to get booster boxes for somewhat a decent deal, probably closer to MSRP. And then Destined Rivals is going to be crazy. And then I definitely feel like the Japanese Team Rocket set, I think that's going to be super expensive also. So if you guys can lock in a good pre-order for that set too, maybe do it from a trusted seller, because so many people right now are canceling their pre-orders, which is just driving me nuts. So how do I see all this playing out? So I've been in Pokemon my whole life, and pretty much every time in the summer, it slows down a little bit just because so many more people are busy. There's a lot more things that you can do. Yeah, I think half the, United States is just covered in snow and it's cold. It's like -25 here today in Minnesota. So not much you can do when it's that cold. So a lot of things do cool off for collectible wise in the summer. Now, if we're looking at all the upcoming sets, so we got Heatwave Arena. This is a Japanese set that comes out March 14th. The Glory of Team Rocket. Then we got Black Bolt and White Flare, which releases June 6th. So that's going to be very popular also. The Black and White era really popped off. It's going to be just like a 151 set, but pure Black and White Pokemon from Gen 5. It's not quite as popular as 151, but there's a lot more hype in the hobby right now than there was when 151 came out. And the set could be a lot, bigger and better. So it definitely could be crazy popular. Then we got Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia, which says it could come out in July, but it's unconfirmed. So it's looking rough. We got a ton of awesome sets coming. Like pretty much everyone is kind of stacked. I'd say the least favorite one is probably going to be Journey Together. And then if we look, Destined Rivals says it comes out May 30th. So right before summer. And I'm very excited for this set. This might be my favorite set. We only have 2 card reveals, but still, I'm very excited for this set. Just the quality of Pokemon in it's going to be crazy. So all we can really hope for is that a lot of people are very busy this summer and they do not have the extra funds to sit and clear out every single Walmart, Target, and Costco. Because I agree, it's so annoying that you can't even find a couple packs now. Like, it's even hard to find Shrouded Fable in stores. Like, that's just crazy. But I do have a feeling Pokemon is definitely going to turn up the printers. And I've seen a lot of people say that they think they've been printing at capacity this entire time. But you got to remember, those early Scarlet and Violet era sets weren't really selling out. Everybody was sitting on them. You can get a bunch of them for $80, $90 for a ton of booster boxes. So, I mean, Danny Phantom has talked about this too, that he feels like a lot of people got way less. They kind of slowed down the printing, which I totally agree with. It totally makes sense. If you make 5 sets in a row and they're all just sitting, you're not going to keep printing at max capacity for every single set, which is why like Twilight Masquerade, got such a small run. So I am very confident that Pokemon will be upping the printing for sure for all these, last 5 or 6 sets and all the new sets coming out. So all we can do is just hope that works with people being busy in the summer. Because then you got to think too, we got the 30th anniversary coming up after that. And then we're going to have Gen 10. You know, that's probably going to be pretty epic. I would assume they're going to do something huge for that too. But otherwise, Pokemon's just going to have to make a couple average or bad sets to get some of the scalpers out of here, which definitely will happen. I mean, if we have 2 sets in a row that people are not very excited for, and you can't instantly just double your money, they're going to go somewhere else. So, I mean, it's just looking so rough right now for sure. So if you guys are in the hobby and you guys want to give up because you can't find any packs, please try to buy singles. Remember, you open the packs to get the cards. There's still a ton of very, very affordable singles. Yes, a ton of them are going up, but there's a lot of very, very cheap special illustration rares. You can go to TCG Player. You can literally go to Pokemon and then go to Rarity and just click special illustration rares and then go to the cheapest. And there are so many, you know, $5, $10 special illustration rares. So definitely, you know, check that stuff out too. There's still a ton of cheap illustration rares that are a couple dollars to $10. A ton of them are going crazy. So be careful buying some of those, because a lot of those cards, I have a feeling, will come back down in price. You know, they get hyped up for a little bit and then come back down. So just please don't give up. There's other ways to enjoy the hobby. You know, you can collect little statues, figurines. A lot of those are still in stock on the Pokemon Center website. Plushies. I even have a sleeve binder collection. That's super fun. The arts on those sleeves are very nice, and you can get a lot of those for free. You know, a ton of people do not care about those sleeves. But yeah, even a lot of card shops have a ton of free sleeves you can go get. So just try a few other things before just giving up on the hobby if you truly do love Pokemon. All right, next question is from Trainer's Archive. Hi, Beard. In your opinion, and based on current market trends, do you think the Drowsy IR will be the next Magikarp in terms of raw and graded value? So I feel like the big difference between the Drowsy and the Magikarp, well, I feel like Magikarp is definitely a lot more popular than Drowsy, but people love the Magikarp art right away. Also, having the Gyarados in that card. Now, people did enjoy this art. I've seen a ton of people say they love this art. I actually enjoy this art a ton. You know, it's definitely super, super unique. The style's definitely crazy. But I don't think people were super, super obsessed with this card right off the bat like they were with Magikarp. It's getting crazy expensive now. You know, it was $14 3 months ago. Let's check a year. It was $4.76 a year ago. Last sold 99, 85, 90, 84, 79, 79, 80, 85. Like, that's crazy. I want to say I have like 5 of these cards maybe. I got it in a lot. But, you know, it's a super, super cool card for sure. I don't know if these prices will hold though. Compared to the Magikarp at least. I just don't feel like Drowsy's quite popular enough to hold that much value for that long. But you never know. It is super, super tough to grade, which is why, you know, a lot of these illustration rares in these earlier Scarlet and Violet era sets are going crazy right now because the PSA 10 prices are pretty wild. But all right, next question is from Estevan Badola. I've got 2 PSA 10 felt hat Pikachus I got for $150 a piece a while back. I really only need one, but I'm so scared of selling it now and it being worth more later on. Thoughts? Shout out the Beard. Thank you. So last sold 700, 795, 815, 805. We got one at 699. So it's definitely gone up quite a bit from 150. It kind of depends on what you're going to do with the money too. I have a feeling this card could get to $1,000 for some reason. And, you know, it's technically going up a little bit still. So definitely, if you're thinking about selling it, just keep watching it. And once it completely levels out, maybe comes down in price a little bit, then maybe sell it. But I could just see this thing at $1,000 for some reason, even though they printed a ton of these. And then too, if you're going to sell it to invest into some sealed products, you know, that's always a good idea. Because you got a ton of profit from this. You know, we're in a boom right now. You know, a ton of people always ask me when to sell, when to sell. The best time to sell cards is during a boom. You know, some stuff might keep going, but no joke, the best times are always the booms. Every boom I've seen, you know, cards go crazy and then 99% of them come back down in price besides a few random ones here and there that are just special, which this could technically be one of them, but like I said, they printed a ton of these. The pop is just crazy high on these. So yeah, I don't know. I'd probably wait a little bit longer. You know, try to get to that $1,000 mark and then maybe sell one just because you do have another. So it's not the end of the world if it, you know, does keep going crazy. You at least have one. And then, you know, if you're going to use the money for something else, maybe take at least 100 or 200 of it to invest in like a sealed booster box or something, just so you have something growing in value from a little bit of that money. So that's what I would do. All right, next question is from at DarkSplurge5463. Hi there, what do you think about metal cards? I picked up quite a few Mew 151s. They were really cheap and surprise, as you can only get them in that UPC, which is expensive. Yeah, they were super cheap. I have like 9 of these. I like the metal cards. You know, a lot of kids love them too because they constantly buy the fake metal cards. But these are real. The texture is crazy. They feel super, super premium. This Mew card is still super cheap in my opinion. It was $3 a year ago. Now that's sold $7.94, $9.50, $7.97, $9.89, $12.47. It's just that not that many people collect these. I have every metal card that they've released for Pokemon so far. I have a nice little collection of that. Sometimes I wish they would make better cards, like the Arceus cards aren't the best. And like some of the newer ones they just did with the Terapagos UPC, that one's okay. But like the other one for the Greninja one's not my favorite. But specifically the 151 Mew EX I feel like is a great pickup just because it is so cheap. You know, it comes in a very, very expensive box. I just can't see people going super, super crazy for all the meta cards in the future. But I'm just kind of collecting them because I enjoy them myself. I just don't know too many other people that love them as much as I do. So next is from @JamesScholar93. Hey Beard, love the videos as always. Keep up the great work. My question is, do you see the Kingdra and Greninja collection boxes from Shadow Fable continue to increase in value or decrease? I know the set isn't the most popular, but I was able to grab 2 Greninja and 1 Kingdra during my Target's last restock. Well, congrats on being able to find some. That is a very nice grab. Let's see, the price, it's coming down a little bit. Last sold 70, 72, 65, 72, 76, 60. It got up to 82. So I have a feeling, you know, it shot up like crazy. It's going to level out now, and it'll probably sit there for a little bit. It really, really sucks that it's only Shrouded Fable in the background. I wish it was like a variety at least, but that's the only thing really holding this box back. And it's only 5 packs, but the art's super crazy. The Kingdra's very nice too, not nearly as expensive as the Greninja. But I could maybe see this box having another maybe run and getting to $100. Not sure. It just depends on how this market holds out and if it just keeps booming like this. But I have a feeling it's just going to sit here for a while. But all right, next is from @Criveth9965. Hey Beard, what are your thoughts on grading promos still in their cellophane plastic as packs? I've seen people with PSA 10 examples asking for close to regular PSA 10 prices. I've never done it before, but they sell for pretty much the same. So here's the Pikachu with the gray felt hat in the actual package still. So the case is bigger. I like the bigger cases kind of. It's better for display, but I don't know. Last sold $864 plus $30 in shipping. $702 plus $30 in shipping, all from Italy. Another one for $700, and that's about it. And then if we go back to the other Pikachu, $706, $795, $815. So as you can see, the one without the package sells a lot more. They're probably just way more of the card actually not in the cellophane. So I have a feeling this might be a little tougher to sell, but if you think about it too, a lot of people have graded card collections and they want them all to stack. If this is a bigger slab, it's not going to stack nicely. Like I said, unless you are planning to display this. But pretty close to the same value. Next is from @UnbeatablePrices818. Hey Beard, question for you. Do you think Bubble Mew will keep going up or at least hold its value? Or do you think there will be a drop? So in my opinion, I feel like Mew EX will drop someday. Not sure when. I mean, it's coming down in price a little bit right now. It got to like $421. Now last sold $388, $392, $394, $395, $395. It's just crazy to think about that this card was even cheaper than $80 before. So it got down to $60 at one time. But it all depends on the market. You know, once the market cools off, if it does cool off, I could see this card leveling out around $200, $250. I feel like that's kind of the sweet spot for these cards. Next is from @DarkX. Hey Beard, recently picked up a Celebrations Master Set. Thoughts on long-term investment? The metal cards are perfect and may think about sending them in and picking up 2 extras for the set. Thank you, sir, for everything you do. So I remember they stopped grading the metal cards for a while, but I think they do grade them again. But the Charizard last sold $2,800. So if you have some clean ones, definitely try to get them graded. Another one sold for $2,950, best offer accepted. And the Pikachu sold for $1,300. Another Charizard at $21, another one at $22. And then I'm pretty sure the Celebration set will have a nice little spike during the 30th anniversary. Pretty much every time we have an anniversary, the last anniversary sets have a little spike. So, you know, I'm a big fan of Celebrations, just having the nice reprints in metal. I'm a big fan of that. You guys know I like the metal cards. I wish they would have done a few original arts or something like that. Like if you go look back at Generations, they got some pretty crazy arts. So hopefully for the 30th anniversary, you know, you can give us some throwback cards. Like I mentioned before, hopefully they extend the original arts and make it the actual illustration rare. But I would love some original arts thrown in there also. Yeah, I definitely feel like Celebrations is a solid hold, but if you do ever sell it, definitely try to sell it during an anniversary is your best option. Next is from Salvador Pereja 8639. Hey PokeBeard, I've made a decent chunk of gains from illustration rares I bought when they were $5 and under. That being said, would you consider SIRs like Ice-Q, EX, and Gita a good play for a set unlikely to reprint? I personally like the artworks and they have such low gem rates to be that cheap in a PSA 10. So, in my opinion, if they're that cheap, it's not too much of a risk. So, I usually just go for it. I like getting the super cheap cards before they ever move. And worst case scenario, they don't really move or they come down $1. It's not the end of the world. You spent a couple dollars. So I'm a big fan of that. You know, I have a ton of these cheaper special illustration rares. You know, I try to pick up a couple every month. I see Ting Lu's going up a little bit. Last time I seen it, market price was $8. Very nice card. But yeah, I totally agree. You know, not terrible. I wouldn't spend thousands of dollars doing it, but just grabbing a few ones that you think the arts are really nice, you know, somewhat popular Pokemon, it's a safe play, in my opinion. Next is from Ryan S193. Hi PokeBeard, what do you think of the Grusha SIR from Paldea Evolved? It's my favorite card of the set, and I was super excited to pull it. I had it graded, and it came back gem mint. The artwork and features is great, the snowy landscape and the Starly huddled together in the bottom left corner. What do you see this card selling for in the future? It seems like it's not a card many people want. I think it should be worth far more than what it is now, but either way, I'm excited to have it in my collection because I really like it. Well, that's all that matters, is that you really like it. It's actually going up a little bit too. It was like $8, now it's around $12-13. And in a PSA 10, last sold $132, so that's definitely going up in price. The sale before that was $99. So it's going up a little bit. I think it's a very solid special illustration rare for sure. It's just on the English side, a lot of trainers and stuff don't go super crazy. Next is from @JP Boathead 884. Hey Beard, what's your favorite goofy Pokemon card? Mine is Chubbitar Charizard from Arceus. Love the channel. Yeah, that is quite the chubby Charizard. Mine would probably have to be this EVGX. It's a Sun and Moon promo. It's actually going super crazy. I'm going to add it on my next Throwback Thursday. But yeah, it was, no joke, 15 to 20 bucks for the longest time. Now last sold 48, 60, 58, 36, 68, 40. It is a very unique art though, if you really look at it. All right, next question is from Gabriel Tarantina 8341. Hey Beard, thank you so much for your time and input. It has absolutely helped me make some tough calls. Quick one here, I hold a first edition Shining Charizard BGS 8.5 with amazing subgrades on 9.5 and Cedar 8.5. Should I crack it to send a PSA and get a better grade? I guess my real question is about your thoughts on regrading. Thanks. First of all, congrats. That is a very beautiful card and a very high grade too. So for regrading, it really depends on the actual card. You know, how nice is that card in person? But if we're actually checking prices here, we have a Beckett 8.5 sold for $3,500 or best offer. Sometimes the mark doesn't go through there and they still sent an offer. And then we do have a PSA 9 sold for $4,350 last sold, and before that $5,500, before that $6,000. And then we have the 10 last sold $11,400 on eBay. And that was January 19th, so not too long ago. So if you're really looking at the prices, it definitely looks like it could be worth it if you do hit the 9 or the 10. Odds are you probably won't hit the 10, but you could definitely hit the 9, and you're gaining a decent chunk. You know, if last sold is $4,350, and let's say this sells on average for $3,000. And then you also have to remember too, the amount of people that collect PSA compared to Beckett is like 10 to 1. So the card is much easier to sell. A lot more people will want that card. But like I said, it really depends on how clean the card is in person. Next is from @Candace Morrison. Awesome content. Question, do you think non-stamped ETB promos are a play? Should they be sealed or not? I love the non-stamped promos. I'm definitely stocking up on a ton of them. A lot of them are literally $1. You know, Petrant's like 50 cents. So very cheap, affordable. And once those ETBs do sell out, which they will eventually sell out, those promos will go up. I'm doing it for super long term. And then you got to think, if you're buying a bunch of them, hopefully you can get a few nice ones that will grade in a PSA 10, which will then basically pay for all of the cards. So I love that play for sure. I'm doing that heavy. And then should they be sealed or not? The way they seal them now is not my favorite, to be honest. Before, I always kept them sealed, but you know, it's kind of up to you. Now, if you sell them individually, you can't put them in just like a regular envelope sealed like that now, which kind of sucks for the cheaper promo cards. So it's kind of up to you for that one. But yeah, I love buying the non-stamped ETB promos. Next is from @Matthew Kretzmer. Will vintage always be king, or is modern starting to take over? So modern has taken over, in my opinion, for sure. I feel like most people would agree with that now. It's just tough to compete with illustration rares and special illustration rares. But if you actually look at like the sales of cards for like anything over $1,000, vintage has 1,000 times more cards that are worth $1,000 or more than modern does. You know, modern really only has a handful of cards that are like pretty expensive, when you could go back and look at the most random vintage set and go look at the top 5 best cards and go look at their PSA 10 prices. They're all pretty expensive because, you know, they're low pops, they're tough to grade. You know, they didn't print nearly as many of them, so they're like actually rare, but they're not as popular as the newer cards. So like the Umbreon VMAX isn't technically rare like in the world of collectibles. Like I have a ton of other collectibles. Like all of the art on my walls in my basement, they're all numbered from like 100 to 150, 250. So like there's only 99 other people who have that same exact picture on their wall as I do. So like that stuff is technically kind of rare. Modern is just tough to beat for sure. But yeah, I will always be a vintage fan though. And I also love modern too. You know, I collect every single illustration rare and special illustration rare, and then obviously all the newer booster boxes. So I'm not the biggest sealed vintage collector. There's some stuff that I absolutely love that I have in my personal collection, but I would just much rather get a lot of this stuff as cheap as possible. You know, it's just much safer than spending thousands of dollars on a booster box that might not move in the next 5 years. But I will always be buying vintage cards. I'm pretty much trying to get every single rare card for every single generation. So like all the level X cards I got, you know, all the EX cards and Prime cards and, you know, anything you could think of that was like somewhat popular or something, I'm collecting it because I was collecting it at that time. I'm super nostalgic to it, and I'm getting super, super close. But yeah, it's just tough to compete with a modern set. It's just, the art is just top tier for sure. Next is from @PokeAarons. Question, would you ever think of doing a raffle for some Pokemon products to support a good cause once in a while, like once a year? Maybe something that's close to you or your family? That's a great idea. I definitely should look into that. If anybody has any info on stuff like that, please hit me up, because I'd love to do something like that at least once a year. You know, I've had a few people in my family have like cancer and stuff too, so would like to help out any way I can. Next is from @BadMike66. How do you secure products at MSRP? If you can't, do you just pay market prices? And if so, how do you determine what you're willing to spend and when? So, you know, obviously I try to pre-order everything when I can, you know, Pokemon Center ETBs and stuff like that. And then for the booster boxes, you know, I work with quite a few LGSs and people who have distributors. I even have a few buddies that have distributors. So I can usually get a couple booster boxes here and there for a good deal. You know, they don't mind doing that as long as they got a decent amount. You know, if they didn't get very much at all, I don't even ask, and I'll just be patient and wait. But I really don't like to spend too much over MSRP for boxes. If it's just a little bit over MSRP, that's totally fine, because if it does go down, you're not going to lose that much money. And then there are certain scenarios where, like I was stocking up on Sun and Moon Unified Minds booster boxes at $160, even though they were $100 before that. And people were saying, like, why are you stocking up on that? Nobody wants that set right now. And now it's like $1,000 a booster box. But at the time, $160, when I first bought that one, I'm like, oh, it's kind of expensive. You know, when you can get a bunch of other sets for around $100. But if you really think about it, if the set's getting pretty old and you look at the whole set and it's, you know, a decent set, you know, $100 or $60 over of what it was the cheapest isn't that much money. So that's the way I think of it. If it's a brand new set that just came out, I'm never buying at those prices. I will just wait for sure. And if it never comes down in price, I missed out on it and I go to the next deal. Next is from @GhettoBlush2578. What do you think about picking up Reshiram and Zekrom cards? I feel like they're going to get 2 guaranteed boosts with Journey Together and the announced black and white sets this year. Yeah, I've already been shopping a little bit. I definitely feel like a lot of them are going to move. There's a lot of very affordable ones too, but yeah, I definitely feel like they're going to go up. Next is Cesara94. PokeBeard, what is the best way to start to do Pokemon full-time? I want to quit my 2 jobs to do this full-time. Thank you. I love watching your videos. So that's tough. If you really want to do it, you have to go all out. So I definitely would not quit your jobs right away. You got to keep working. And then you have to go all out on everything. So you have to make content. You got to do YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all that. I wish I would have started all of those apps at the same time. I definitely did not. I just did YouTube, and I definitely wish I would have. And then you got to start buying people's lots. You got to start getting cards graded, and then, you know, selling those. You got to start doing card shows. And then you do all of that and start getting some money flowing on the side of your 2 jobs. Then that way you can quit one of your jobs, then use that freed up time to just keep going all out on YouTube and just growing everything bigger and bigger and bigger. And then hopefully you can get big enough to where you can quit your other job. But like, no joke, I did 10 to 15 shorts a day for 365 days in a row while doing a long form video every other day. You know, I did that nonstop while selling a ton of cards on eBay, you know, getting thousands and thousands of cards graded, selling those. Yeah, at least took me a year straight before I was even making a little bit of money on YouTube to where you would even think about quitting a job. So, and there's so much you can do to become more knowledgeable in Pokemon. You can watch the shows, watch the movies, play the games. You know, you can check out every single Pokemon card set too and see all the cards and check out all the prices for those, all the boxes. So you could just constantly get information. And then if you just do that, I swear for a year straight, you'll be rocking and rolling. So good luck. Next is from @Kiri Collect, my man. Thanks for your answer to my first question for the channel. Here's another one. You're mostly a sealed or single investor and don't rip much. What are your favorite products or sets that you do end up ripping? The only set that I like truly enjoyed ripping was Hidden Fates, Celebrations was pretty fun, and then Crown Zenith. So I'm actually super cheap, so I'm not a big fan of gambling, and Mrs. Beard has pulled me a ton of awesome cards. But yeah, I like the sets that have easy pull rates, to be honest. Next is from Dan R. Metal. Hey, PokeBeard, a big fan from Australia. I'm new to collecting 6 months and slowly building up funds along the way. I have $300 to $350 to spend on sealed products. What would be your best long-term investment recommendation? Thinking Surging Sparks, Booster Box, or 151, or should I look at older sets like Crown Zenith, etc.? To be honest, you know, just keep trying to get these pre-orders for all these newer sets, maybe save up for Destined Rivals. You know, I would definitely think about that right now for sure. And because a lot of stuff right now is super overpriced. I have a feeling Surging Sparks is going to have a huge reprint. 151 probably won't have another reprint, like another huge one. We'll probably just get random things here and there. So it's just tough. Next is from @Padazra14. What's up, Beard? What are your predictions for the 30th anniversary set? I personally would love to see a stamped version of the Neo Genesis Lugia. I'm currently sitting on a bunch of cards to get graded, some PSA, some Black Label worthy, but I'm kind of overwhelmed with the cost of grading. What do you recommend? So hopefully the 30th anniversary, they continue the arts and make them illustration rares like the Pikachu from Celebrations, and then hopefully we get some original arts too. But I would not mind seeing a stamped Lugia for sure. Love the Gen 2 love. And then for your cards getting graded, just grade a few at a time if the cost is just too crazy for you. Next is from @WingsHauser1790. Love all the info you give out. What card shows are you thinking of going to? And repeat question, is it better to sell at local stores, online, or at card shows for singles or sealed? So I got a card show on the 1st. It's going to be a TCG only show, and I'm actually going to have some PokeBeard merch here. So if you guys are in Minnesota, definitely come check that out. And I'm actually partnering with the guy who runs all of the Minnesota card shows. So I'm going to be at all of the future card shows for sure. Then we have another card show at Punch Out Gaming a couple weeks after that. And then I think the next show that I have locked in is the big show at the St. Paul River Center, which is like a 3-day show, which I think is in the middle of April. And then if you want to go sell your cards all at once and all your boxes at once and just do one deal, card shows is definitely your best option for sure. If you want to build up a selling reputation, then definitely do online. And last question is from @Trading Card Investments. Hey Beard, have you heard any updates on Pokemon increasing their printing volume of Prismatic? I know they stated they would, but I have not seen any impact yet. Have you? No, it's going to take probably at least 6 months if I had to guess before they really start pumping out a ton of things. So it's going to be a little bit for sure. But all right, that was today's Pokemon What If Wednesday. If you guys like this content, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. And if you guys want to support more, check out my Instagram, or you can join my YouTube membership. It's only 99 cents a month. So definitely check that out. And then if you guys want to watch my last Pokemon Market Monday, click this video here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.